this video, we're going to break down how you can become an unstoppable leader in your field by integrating the masculine and feminine energies within you. Now, if that's your first time ever hearing that, that may be triggering. I know it definitely was for me in the beginning, but we all have masculine and feminine energy. It has nothing to do with male or female. It's simply an energy that we all have within us. And when we can harness the best of both, we can really show up and be a profound leader, serve to the highest level, and grow our business from a place where we feel like we kind of have this superhuman ability to be able to communicate, influence, and lead others to greatness. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So I'm going to reference some things I learned from a business mentor named Alex Shafton. I'm going to show you kind of the difference between a wounded feminine and a wounded masculine energy, which we'll get into, and also what that looks like in terms of like business and how that can be misaligned, as well as a more powerful divine feminine and divine masculine energy, which will allow you to show up really as this leader that we're really talking about here. We need to be able to embody these qualities to be able to show up as our best self, to really get people the transformation that they're looking for, because there's no shortage of people out there who are running businesses and companies and products from a very wounded masculine and feminine energy. And you can feel it within the marketplace. You can feel it in their marketing. You can feel it in how they portray themselves online. And how do we really arrive at these more aligned qualities? Well, it's that journey of spiritual development. It's that connection that we have to ourselves. It's that journey of self-mastery, which is everything that we talk about on this channel. And as we show up more with these two energies, integrate them into our being and operate from that place, there's literally no limit to what we can create in this world. And the transformation that will come from that through the clients that we work with, the team members that we hire, and the team members that we really lead in that direction. The sky is the limit, because it's going to come from a place of strength, power, courage, love, compassion, and neutrality to allow us to really just build something absolutely incredible that's going to feel aligned, purposeful, and really give us a life that we're proud of, as well as amazing client results to show for it as well. The first thing is to really understand is that understanding and integrating divine feminine and divine masculine energy really gives you kind of like this superhuman ability. And that's not for any other reason other than the fact that you're just fully tapping into what is already within you. It's not that you have to go out and look for something. It's not that you have to go out and be somebody different. It's just that you're understanding the depths of who you are. You're more authentic because of it. And then you can just show up and lead and influence people in a much easier way. So I'm going to be looking over here sometimes just because I have some notes I want to share with you to make sure that you get the most out of this. And when we start off, really we're looking at what does it mean in terms of masculine, feminine, in terms of energetics specifically. So again, not about man or woman, it's more about the energy that we all hold within. So if we look at feminine is more flow, it's more being, it's creation, it's creativity, it's nurturing, and it's also receiving energy. So the ability to receive. Masculine is more of the go, it's more of the doing, the execution, the production, and the structure, the driving force behind things, and also more of a penetrating energy. So that's why the masculine is more of a penetration, and then the feminine is more of receiving. It's the same way in relationships, right? So that energy is something that we all carry within ourselves. Obviously, as men, we have more masculine energy that we really want to cultivate more of, but we also want to make sure that we're cultivating divine masculine energy, not wounded masculine energy that we'll get into. The same with the woman, cultivating more feminine energy, but divine feminine, not a wounded feminine. So we got to be careful of that, and we'll explain those in a little bit more detail. So when we look at this in relation to leadership and in relation to just business in general, feminine energy is nurturing, but how this can show up in a misaligned way or in a way that is more of a wounded energy. The feminine energy is more looking at, okay, how can I rescue people? How can I save people? Correcting people? How can I be overly critical of people to make sure that they are a certain way? Another thing would be like more sensitive around feedback. Another way to look at it would be more of a victim mentality, right? You kind of feel attacked. You're kind of feeling like a victim, and you're sensitive to any feedback that may be constructive for your development and growth. Okay. Also, blaming or thinking that the problem is somebody else's problem, right? Passing the blame onto somebody else, whether that's a team member or your virtual assistant or your partner or anything at all, right? Energetically, it would feel unsafe or unsecure or uncertain, and really be afraid of that more than anything else. It's because of this type of energy, it's difficult to trust. It's difficult to actually have faith in this person as a leader when they're in that feminine wounded energy that is misaligned, right? It's difficult to trust them because it's very all over the place, as you can see from what we've listed already. And another thing is more of like a passive aggressive communicator. So never really direct, never really loving or nurturing. It's more of like a passive aggressive, I'm angry at you, but I'm not really going to tell you. I'm going to make sly comments because of that. It's a very, very wounded energy that comes from the feminine source energetically. So now let's look at the masculine energy and how that can be showing up in terms of misalignment or more of a wounded masculine energy as well, which is more reactive with people. Okay, so generally if you get feedback from someone, you're going to react emotionally. You're going to get angry, frustrated, and you're going to immediately not be able to control that. You're just going to blurt out something and you're going to say something. It's going to offend people, it's going to upset people, and it's coming from a place of not being able to control your emotions. This is why emotional mastery is so important as men, because that is the number one quality of a wounded masculine energy. Okay. The next thing then is unintentional execution. So basically just working hard for the sake of working without any intention behind it. So just moving and operating and executing, but just doing it from a place of like, oh my God, if I don't work, if I don't produce, I'm never going to be successful. I'm not going to be able to get this result. I'm not going to be able to achieve. And it's just like this relentless execution, but with very little direction, clarity, purpose, or intention. And I've been there. I've been there like a lot of the times when I was early in business, I was doing this. So I can totally resonate with this. Also, not being open to feedback. So when someone gives you some sort of criticism or any feedback to make you better, you're just not open to it. You just kind of reject it. You like face it back on them and you kind of take offense to it, right? Again, comes back to emotional mastery. Seen as more of a perpetrator. So seen as someone who is scary, kind of a feeling of just, I want to be away from this person, right? People can see you that way, especially team members or partners or anything like that. Constantly changing direction is another one. So constantly going in one direction, canceling it all, and then moving in another direction, and then canceling that and moving in another direction, and never really having any steady pace and intention and direction around what you're doing. And this can be very frustrating if people are working with you. It can be very frustrating if people are there trying to support you, but you keep moving in this jagged new direction every moment. It's just very, very difficult to keep up with that. I've worked with people who have been like that, and it's very frustrating, especially if you're trying to help them and trying to help them with the mission overall. Another thing is energetically like intimidating. So again, it comes with aggressive, it comes with, just kind of, being like wanting to be away from this person. It's like, you don't really want to approach them. You don't want to communicate with them. It's very it's almost scary. And a lot of companies are built on like that kind of like fear-based leadership, where it's like, if they're afraid of me, they'll do what I say. But that's not coming from a divine masculine, it's coming from a wounded masculine energy. Okay. Another thing is more demanding people to perform. So getting angry at people if they're not high performing, if they're not doing things a certain way. And it's not necessarily that you're constructively helping them perform better. You're actually just mad at them for not performing, and you don't actually help them perform better. You just get angry at them. Again, emotions are just coming out to the surface. Okay. And again, in terms of communication, more of an aggressive communicator. So someone who is just like really just not cool to be around. You just don't want to be around that energy. You don't want to be communicating with this person because it's quite aggressive and you never really feel like you solve the problem. It's just more like an emotional reaction more than anything else. So they're the misaligned qualities when it comes to leadership and business, and the wounded masculine and feminine that we have to be aware of. So when we're operating from that energy, we know that we're in one of those phases, and we can be in those phases as men and also as women as well. We have both of these energies as well. So we have to understand if some of these are resonating with you right now, it's because you're in one of these wounded energies that is affecting your business growth, affecting how you communicate, affecting your content, your brand, your marketing, everything. So we have to be aware of these things. Now let's look at this in comparison to leadership qualities that are more aligned, more strong, courageous, powerful, and really what we call divine feminine and divine masculine energies. So let's start with the feminine energy again, okay? So intentionally grows people. So very good at holding space for people, very intentional about how she communicates or he communicates if it's more of a feminine energy. And to be able to really help people grow, help people expand, and help people step into that highest version of themselves, regardless of where they're at. Very, very nurturing, very, very powerful, very loving, okay? Another thing is creative problem solving. So solving problems in a very creative way. It could be in terms of marketing, how you portray yourself, messaging, content. It could be any of those things. Doing it in a creative way, and a way that's different to the rest of the people in the marketplace, right? Creative way of solving problems. Encourages feedback and collaboration. So welcomes feedback. It welcomes people's opinions and welcomes people's thoughts and ideas, and has an open communication channel with that, to be able to improve the business or to be able to collaborate and open up space for collaboration, even if it doesn't make sense with the team structure as well. So that's something that can be very, very powerful. So the next thing is, as well, is like seen as a coach, seen as a teacher, someone who is constantly helping people evolve and grow. Really comes back to intentionally growing people as well. Protects and supports the team is going to be another one. So very nurturing. You can tell with everything that we're talking about here, very nurturing, very like creating a container for people to grow. And I think like as men, we need to be able to do that as well. So we need to be able to tap into that, as well as women to be able to tap into the masculine energy that we're going to get into in just a second. So protects and supports the team, supports the partnerships and all those things. Okay. Naturally, very easily be able to influence people is another trait of the divine feminine. So this can be seen as persuasive, right? Persuasive and influential and just nice to be around, simply because it's coming from a very loving and nurturing energy overall. And as a communicator, that's very, very influential because people feel seen, they feel heard, they feel validated, and they feel comfortable coming to you with things that they may be thinking to be able to improve things. And that's where everyone can really collaborate, okay? Another thing is it's easy to trust this type of person because of those things we've already mentioned. It's very easy to trust them. If there's more trust, your team's going to work better, your business is going to run better. And you as either someone who's running a team or also a solopreneur, you're going to have a better relationship with clients. You're going to have a better relationship with people in your audience online. It all trickles into everything that we do. So this energy is very trusting. Another one is open and receptive to communication. So when we are communicating, we're very open to new ideas. We're not held down by a fixed mindset. It's more of a growth mindset. It's more of a way of seeing different opinions, different ways of being, and then being open to that and communicating in that way as well, where you're opening up different channels to be able to learn more from other people, and again making people feel seen and validated as well. With that being said, let's look at more of the masculine energy when it comes to the aligned qualities, the leadership and strong and powerful masculine when it comes to the divine masculine energies we want to embody. So intentionally grows the business from compared to the opposite that we mentioned, which is kind of randomly taking action and just hoping that things work and not really having a plan in place. This is coming from more intention. Okay, you have a structure that you're following. You're not just working for the sake of working. You're working when you feel aligned, when you feel like there's something to really work on. You're selective about the projects that you choose. You're intentional about who you work with, why you work with them, and what you're working on, so that your energy is going to the best places that's going to produce the highest results for you. So this is going to be a big part of being in that divine masculine energy. So the next one is solution-focused execution. So with this, it's more just like, okay, we see a problem, and instead of reacting to the problem, getting afraid of the problem, or getting annoyed at the problem, we immediately drop into a state of neutrality and can come to a solution very quickly, because we're in a state of just seeing things the way that they are. We're not seeing things as bad or good. We're just seeing things as a problem that needs to be solved, and we are focused on executing on solving that problem in the best way possible. So that's where that comes from. Another thing is applies and responds to feedback. So when someone gives you feedback about maybe how you're operating or how you are coming across, you're open to that feedback. You're in control of your emotions. You're not going to react. You're not going to get resentful. You're not going to push it back on them. You're actually going to be open and receptive to that communication, and you're going to apply something that you feel is necessary to apply into your personality, your character, and the way that you operate within the business as well. So it's very, very important to have that. Next thing then is you're seen as a leader. You're not just seen as someone who is there directing people and telling everybody what to do. You're seen as a leader. You lead by example. You have a level of self-mastery within yourself that you can show up from a very strong place. People feel that about you. They trust you. They know that you're there to guide them and lead them, and they feel safe in your presence because of it, okay? Next thing then is holding people accountable. So again, holding people to a higher standard, holding people to the higher self that they have that they may not be able to see or tap into just yet, but you see it for them and you hold them to that standard. That's something I love to do with clients as well. The next thing then is naturally motivates. So naturally you're going to inspire people, you're going to motivate people. Again, you're going to be seen as someone who is naturally able to influence others as well. Because you have that leadership quality, people feel that energetically from you. The next thing then is inspires performance through this inspiration, this motivation. So people are just going to naturally want to perform around you because of the energy that you bring, because of who you are, how you show up. They're going to see you as a model, and they're going to want to be a part of that, and they're going to want to work hard because they see how you operate. Because you're not coming from a place of neediness or scarcity. You're actually coming from really strong intention and courage, and they want to help fulfill that because of the energy that you give them. Okay, so people are going to naturally want to work hard for you. The next thing then is direct and logical communicator. So very direct, able to have hard conversations when necessary, and do it in a very, very compassionate way, very loving way, but still very direct, very straight to the point, and holding yourself to a high standard as well. If there's someone on your team, for example, or a friend or a partnership where you just don't like the behavior, you just don't like the way things are going, addressing that, cutting through the noise, not being afraid to address it, and showing up as that leader, maybe even firing or removing people from your life who are not able to hold that standard or react emotionally to that. So that means that you can directly communicate with people in a very, very compassionate way that allows them to raise their standards as well. So they're the more aligned, more divine qualities when it comes to masculine and feminine. And as leaders in business, as coaches, consultants, as sales professionals, leading other people on a journey of transformation, we want to be able to embody these more divine masculine and feminine energies as part of our being, as part of our business, as part of our leadership. And when we do that, we step into a whole new identity, a whole new way of operating. And that comes with the journey of self-mastery, everything that we talk about on this channel. So if you want to go deeper on some of these things, check out the links in the description. I'll be there to help you on this journey. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, and I'll see you in the next video.